mental health, and emotional health, and our spiritual health. Tonight we are dealing with the last 2 weeks. We've actually been dealing with identifying our spiritual location or our mental or emotional location. We've been talking a great deal about what mental health is, how to identify if there's a problem, and kind of just getting a good feel on where we are emotionally and mentally. So today we're going to tackle some of the ways to help deal with it. I don't believe in presenting a problem without presenting solutions. So hold on, YouTube. My camera is really looking really dirty, so hold on. All right, I guess it's just the way it is tonight. My house is a little dim because we are putting Christmas in full swing here. Um, but I want to talk tonight about how to deal with when you're feeling down, and in particularly this Christmas season. As we get into the holidays, for a lot of people, it can be kind of rough. It can be really rough if you're really honest about it. I know for whatever reason, the last couple of days, I've been having a really, you know, I've been having some challenges of my own, dealing with some major losses that I've had this year and dealing with some other things. And so it's kind of all created a little difficulty, some speed bumps, if you will. So tonight we're going to talk about how to deal with. But tonight we're going to talk about one of the ways to deal with when you've had an extensive series of days of sadness, or when you've had some moments of sadness. Tonight we're going to talk about music. Music is a very powerful tool. If you remember back in the scriptures when the king was suffering with depression or demons at night or whatever, however they termed it, they sent for David to play for him, to play music for him, and it would make him feel better. A lot of mental health patients or a lot of elderly, when they're experiencing challenges such as Alzheimer's, or they're experiencing challenges emotionally, music helps them along. Music is a very powerful tool. Music can make you sad. Music can make you cry. Music can make you happy. They use music to help people with brain injuries. I know for me personally, when I'm in a low place, and it happens to me, just because I encourage you or encourage the public does not mean I don't have moments. And I really wish people would become more honest with that. This is one of the things with sadness or depression or just not feeling yourself, is that you feel isolated. And one of my reasons for doing this particular series is because I want people to understand you are not alone. You are not. Everybody goes through some level of sadness, be it for a couple of hours. Some people have years um, of feeling not quite yourself. It's a perfectly normal thing. Even the Bible talks about Christ, where he had a moment where they said he cried as tears of blood. He was in distress. So I really wish we could come to as a place as people, as human beings, where we were a little more transparent. And one of the things that I want to keep before you is that I try my very darndest to be as transparent with you as possible. Um, Music can change your mood almost instantly. I know, like today, I had a really frustrating day today at work, and it kind of lingered over from the weekend, and I found myself in a place of where I was just crabby and snapping and frustrated, and then one minute I felt like I wanted to cry. I was just having a day. I was just having a real serious day. But to regain my place of sanity, I had to find some music to bring me back. My brother, and before I go any further, I want to stop here. And I want to give a shout out to my children and to my mom, because those are the people that keep me grounded. When I'm in a place of where I'm having some technical emotional difficulties, those are the people who, that's my inner circle, who when I'm at wit's end, or when I can't figure things out, or when I'm ready to shut down, Those are the people. So I just, before I go any further, I really want to tell my children, thank you. And my mom, thank you. Because when I'm not smiling and when I'm not before a camera, when I'm not writing, in books, or when I'm not doing what I do, I have my moments, and they're the ones that get to see the bare me when I've given everything else to the world, and they're the ones that have to sit by while we try to pick up the pieces when I have given everything that I had and I'm left empty, and then I'm looking pitiful. So I want to tell my children, Ashley Willis, and my mom, Sandra, thank you. I appreciate you and I love you with all my heart. So back to what I was saying. Music can change your mood. Music is very powerful. So if you are listening to a love song, you're more likely to feel like being in love. If you're listening to um, some very rhythmic music that's like high on the rhythm level and it's got a driving beat, you're more inclined to move and be ready to dance. If you're listening to some orchestra music, and you're more likely to sway. One of the things that I've noticed in my life is that if you're in the car, and just one day try it. If you're in the car and you're driving along and you're listening to a song, pay attention to the people that are walking down the street. Usually they're walking to the beat of what you're listening to. And I've always found that fascinating, because at the end of the day, we all come down to one beat. And regardless as to cultural differences or spiritual differences, we all kind of move to a rhythm. Some of our rhythms are more unique than others, and other rhythms are more like the rest of the flow. But the next time you're driving a car or riding somewhere, pay attention to the people that are walking. And 9 times out of 10, they're usually walking to the beat of something that you're listening to. So that lets me know the music and the what's in the music is so important. It's at Christmas time, the Christmas music, that gives us that feeling of it's okay, all's well with the world. It's at funerals. I am a firm believer. I told my children that when my time comes, when I'm old and crusty, and it's my time to leave this earth, I don't be playing no sad songs. Don't do it. Please. Don't do that. Because you find that when they play the sad songs, it causes people to become more grief stricken. And it gives them a more difficult time um, within the service. So music can help on so many levels. A dear brother of mine, well, actually, he was like my spiritual dad, Dr. John Saba, does and check it, he's gone on to be with the Lord just recently. Um, Check out his page on YouTube, Dr. John Saba, and he talks about the tones and the frequencies of different tones and notes in music that are healing, that are help you become spiritually in tuned, that also help you emotionally. Music has a big part in our lives. If you listen to music that's violent, you're more than likely want to fight. If you're listening to music that is calming and soothing, you're probably going to go to sleep. So with that being said, if you're in a down place, or a place of where you're feeling an extensive amount of sadness, or you're feeling broken, or you're feeling hurt, for women, and I can't speak on men because I've never been a man, so I can only speak on being a woman. I'm taking my socks off again. I'm sorry, y'all. But as being a woman, if you've ever gone through a breakup, the first thing women tend to go to is all those sad love songs, because it relates to where you are. Music has a way to speak to your soul. It has a way of saying what you may not have the capability of verbalizing. A lot of times music, when you listen to a song, if you're in a place of where you're going through something, the musician has the ability to say the words that you can't articulate. I know for me, especially when I was in high school, I played violin. And one of the things for me for playing the violin was, there was times when I would have stressful moments and I couldn't find the words to say. But I could really get it out through my violin. As I got older, we moved into liturgical dance. And so for me to be able to dance to the music could express how I felt. There were times that I didn't have the words and I couldn't figure out how to articulate how I was feeling, and still. But there's always a song or a melody that can kind of pick up what you're feeling. So one of the ways to deal with when you're having some emotional challenges is music. Now, here's the key. If you're in a sad place, listening to a sad song is not going to help you. It will help bring out of you emotionally where you are. So if you're in a place where you feel like crying, you go listening to the sad songs, you're going to be crying. You really will. But what I try to do, and this is just me, when I'm in a sad place, I try to find a grateful song or a thankful song, or I will listen to my worship music, and it will kind of help get me through that moment and help me put things back into perspective. Today, while I was at work, I had to put on my Christmas music. Now, here's the funny thing. Normally in times past, it would be, my Nat King Cole's. But over the last couple of weeks, I discovered Christmas trap music. And it's really been helping. So find your place musically. I have a brother who does DJing, and music is Norvell's life. And he absolutely, from A to Z, you can call him and sing him a song and he'll tell you what it is. And so is the same with my son and my daughter, because I'll call them and the melody will be in my head and I can't think of the words. And they'll be like, okay, Mom, this is this song. But find your song for your space. Find your therapeutic melody to help you through wherever you are. If you're in a place of where you're experiencing lack, find a song of prosperity to help you get through that, because you don't want to stay where you are. You're trying to move forward. So if you're feeling one way, I always suggest that you find music that says the opposite. So if you're feeling sad, try to find your happy song, and that will help get you out of that sad place. If you're feeling angry, try to find some happy music to bring you back down. You've got to find that balance in your life. You've got to find that balance in your spirit with the notes and the song. If it'll help someone who has Alzheimer's, it can help you. If it's played for cancer patients, it can help you. One of the things I suggest when people call me and say that they have a loved one that is hanging on by life's thread is to play music. When my dad this year was in the process of leaving us, or making the transition from being stuck in this human flesh to eternal life, I got to the point, I just started taking music that I knew he liked. And I would take it to the hospital and just play it for him and sit there and listen to the old songs and songs that I knew he liked. And at times, and people said that he didn't react, but I in my heart I knew he did, because he would move his hand or he would move his foot or things that he wouldn't do when the music wasn't playing. So I knew that somewhere, even if he couldn't articulate to me what was going on, that he appreciated or he related to the music. So I tell people when they call me and they say, Sister Tally, so-and-so is in the hospital, this is what's happening. Play scripture for them, play music for them, because your ears are one of your gates. That's how things get in. How else do you learn except you hear it or you see it? So when you hear things, it enters in to your spirit and your mind and your subconscious, just like it does with your eyes. When you see things, it enters into your spirit and your subconscious. So with music, when you're putting it in, it's making an adjustment to you spiritually. So when you're listening to sad songs, you are probably going to end up at some point crying. It just happens. It just happens. I know for me, when I take moments to listen to songs that I used to love that are sad, one of the songs that just absolutely, you want to take me out the game, It's a song by Donny Hathaway, and I think it's called A Song for You. That song, I don't care who play it, when they play it, it just tears me down. And it just takes me to a crying place. It takes me a long time to get out of. But you have to find your song that when you're sad or when you're down, that song that you can play that can pull you back out. That song that will help you stabilize your mood. Um, Sometimes when, me and my daughter will be around dancing or singing or whatever, people laugh at us, but one of the songs that we like, it just happens to be Whoop That Trick. Hey, it happens. Um, and that takes us to a happy place. It probably shouldn't, but it does. So that's our song. There's songs that I can think of that remind me of wonderful times in my life. And when I'm in a bad place or a sad place, I play those songs to remember happier times, to remember moments when whatever is wrong at that moment wasn't wrong. Um, there's songs that I just can't listen to anymore. One of the songs that it was played when my father's casket was being taken out. I can't handle that. So I don't listen to those type of songs. But just know this: music is a powerful tool. And if you found yourself in a low place, then let music be your guide. Most certainly, prayer. Prayer helps. For me, it's writing. I write. But we'll talk about those tools at a later time. Another tool is to meditate. Sometimes you just have to refocus your mind. For me, I found it brings me great peace. I have a candle by my bed. And it's something about, no, it's probably not the safest thing in the world, but there's something about me falling asleep to that candle that brings me like great peace. And as I'm drifting off, I'm talking to God and I'm praying, and I just drift off and go to sleep. And I find I sleep better that way. Not sure why. It just do. But I'll look it up so that we can use that as one of our tools. But music is a powerful, powerful tool. And it can take you from sadness to happiness. It can also take you from happiness back to sadness. It just depends on the song, and it depends on where you find yourself at when you listen to the song. So today, find your song. Find that song that brings you joy, that brings you peace. Um, for some people, it may not be a song. Sometimes I don't listen to actual songs. Sometimes it's listening to bells, which is a form of music. Sometimes it's listening to chimes. I have a wind chime in my bathroom. And so whenever I have forced heat in my home, so whenever, oh, the tree does look pretty. So whenever I hear, when the heat comes on, the chimes start to make, noise. And I find it so peaceful. Um, the earth has a song of its own. Sometimes going out to sit in nature and listening to the breeze and the trees and the leaves, it's a song of its own. So find your song. Find that song that puts you in a peaceful and a happy place. Find your peace, whatever that may be. Um, Alcohol doesn't always work. It doesn't. Most times, alcohol is a depressant. So if it works for that moment, later on, you're going to be sad. Drugs don't work because, again, they're usually depressants. And the moment you come down off that high, you're going to be back at the same place. So you're going to have to work with where you are, and you're going to have to make the adjustments to where you are. And you're going to have to find your song that brings you some peace and some joy so that you can move forward and so that you're not stuck. If it takes putting the song on repeat, sometimes I listen to prayers that have music behind them, and that helps keep me focused and it gets me grounded. But find your song, whatever that may be. Find the music that encourages your soul. Find the music that lifts your heart. Find the music that inspires you to smile, that brings you joy. And like I said, recently, for me, it's been Christmas trap music. I would have never thought. When I found that the other day, I was like, oh, wow, what have I been missing out? Part of me has been listening to it all along and didn't even know it. Funny story, when we were on our way to pick my son up, and My other son, my son in love, in the back seat was like, "What kind of Christmas music is this?" I was like, "I don't know. I found it on YouTube." But it made us happy, and it made us giddy, and it made us giggle, and so it's a keeper. So whatever music uh, gives you some joy, go with it. Whatever makes you smile, whatever music, just thinking about that song in the car just made me smile instantly. Whatever brings you your joy, whatever brings you your peace, run with it. Listen to it. Headphones, I suggest every single person should have some, because when the world is acting crazy, sometimes you just need to check out and listen to your music. Sometimes your tunes is what's going to save your life. And sometimes your music might be what saves somebody else's. Because I can promise you, there has been many a time that I just wanted to go clean off. And I had to put my headphones on, get my music to bring me back to another place, to keep me from making a foolish decision. Because when you have things on the table, some things you just can't risk. So I say to you tonight, whatever you're going through, find you a song, find you some music. Um, Whatever your song is, that's your business. It don't have nothing to do with anybody else. If you ever listen to my playlist, you would just be like, what in the world? Because I love all types of music. Heavy metal, rock, R&B, orchestra, classical, you name it, I love it. Um, and so I have a song from every, format. So find your song, find your happy song, find your happy place. And most certainly during this Christmas season, um, for some people it's just going to be hard, and that's just it. This year, I just know from watching my Facebook family and friends, some people have taken some heavy losses. Some people have taken some hard losses. Um, Losing loved ones, losing family members, losing friends, um, losing economics, losing jobs. Some people have just had it. This has been a rough year. But because it's a rough year does not mean it's over for you. Just because it's a rough year doesn't mean that it's the end of the road for you. It just means that you're at a new starting point. And the key to that is just keep moving, babies. Don't give up. Don't give in. I promise you. I was just talking to my mom today, and that's why I thank God for my mother and my children, because today I was just having a really, today was a day. And if for the people who know me, for me to go all day and not even put makeup on, it was a rough day. It was a rough day. And not any one particular thing. I think at this stage, a lot of things have just, as my mother says, come to roost. And so trying to process and trying to deal with that, trying to deal with the loved ones that aren't here, trying to deal with some decisions that I made that probably were not, they were good at that moment, but now, dealing with the residuals of it. But in that, we find a song. We find some music to carry us through. We find a melody and a note to give us some sense of sanity when everything seems like it's chaos. So I say to you, as always, my babies, I love you. I appreciate each and every one of you. You're important to me. We need you. We need you here. Um, Mental health is not anything to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be isolated from. Life happens. It just happens. Life happens. We're not all created the same, although we are created equal. But not being the same means that we process things a little differently on each occasion. That means what may be a loss to you, I may take as a devastation. And what I may be devastated by, you may take it as it's not that big of a deal. So be mindful when we are talking to our fellow humans on how they should deal with things, because you can't tell someone how to feel. You can't tell somebody what emotions they should feel. I know people who lost a mother one day and were fine the next. I know people who lost a mother years ago and they're still equally as devastated today. So be kind to one another. Be gentle. especially during this Christmas season. And we know that this Christmas season should be full of joy and splendor and wonderful things. But also at the same time, people are still experiencing life. And there are people who, even though they may be smiling in your face, and I put up a post on Facebook the other day, this basically said, check on your people, because they may be smiling to you. They may be smiling and laughing, and on the inside they feel like they're dying. There are moments when people may be smiling, and on the inside they don't know how they're going to survive another moment. So be mindful of, and normally we say be mindful of, people who have had a loss. Be mindful of people who have had family members die. We usually say be mindful of, but be mindful of everybody, because everybody's dealing with something. There are people who, yes, have lost loved ones. There are people who are senior citizens that are by themselves. There are homeless people. There are people who are motivational speakers who go home and are just equally devastated because they gave everything spiritually they have to their viewers. And so they're left empty. The people that work in the churches, the people that work in the hospitals, everybody, the people who are in jail, the people who work at the jails. Be mindful just of everybody. You never know what somebody's going through. And this life can deal some hands that we will never understand, but they are equally devastating. So today, my loves, I just want to say be encouraged. Know that each day is a new day, and just keep moving forward. If you have to take time out to cry, that's okay. If you feeling angry today, that's okay too. Just know that tomorrow is a new day. And as I tell my children, as long as you're breathing, everything is subject to change. Don't ever forget that. Just because today is a bad day does not mean tomorrow will be that way also. So tonight, I wish you love. I bid you peace. And I pray that you will find your song, that you'll find the song that'll bring a smile back to your heart, and that'll bring a little joy to your soul. I pray that over this Christmas season, that something happens wonderful for you. I really do. I really pray that something wonderful happens to you, that you can look back on for the rest of your life and say, you know what? That was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I pray that, and I know I'll see you guys before the new year, but I pray that if I don't, that 2020 brings you all of your good dreams and they come true. I really do. I really hope that for you. So if you're on Facebook, we are 30 Days to Live. If you're on Instagram, we're Vision underscore accomplishment 313. If you're Twitter, we're Vision Accomplished 313. YouTube is Vision Accomplished. Like, subscribe, share, hearts, all those good things. Be a part of our family as we all take this journey together. Remember, Wednesdays is Weight Loss Wednesday. We're taking this journey. We're not waiting till the new year. We ain't waiting for that. We're gonna be great now. Fridays is Financial Fridays. We talk about our money. One of the things that we must understand is that to be whole includes everything. It includes your body, it includes your mind, it includes your finances, it includes your relationships. All of that takes part in how you live this life. So we're going to be addressing all of them. Um, Remember, Saturday is Support Saturday. So all of our vendors that we, participate in, that we partake in their products, we try to bring them to you and show you things. The last 3 vendors were amazing. Christmas time is coming. So go back through the pages, look at their things. Remember always that the book is still available. It's 30 Days to Live. And you can find that on authorhouse.com. Always. But more than anything, find your peace. Find your place where you can be at peace with you. Learn to love you. Learn to adore you. You can't expect somebody else to love you if you don't love yourself. And for some people, that's hard. But take it one step at a time. For me, it started by me standing in the mirror and just looking at myself in the mirror and saying, I love you. and you're worthy of every good thing that could ever come your way. Be mindful of how you treat yourself. If it comes to a point where you feel like you're at your wit's end, understand that you're human and it's okay. And it's okay for you to reach out. It doesn't take nothing from you, be you a female or a male. If you feel like you're at your breaking point, reach out to somebody. If it ain't nothing but texting them help, reach out. If you need to contact, you can contact the suicide hotline. If you need to just verbally talk, one of the things that helps me, this is just me. This is my personal what helps me. When I don't have anybody else to talk to, I turn on my computer and I record and talk to myself. You can think it's crazy, say what you want, I don't care. It helps me get through the day. So, love yourself, appreciate yourself. Cut yourself a little slack. We don't have to be perfect. We just have to be vigilant in what we do. So tonight, find your song. Know that you are loved. I love each and every one of you. And I appreciate that you take time out to listen or to watch. Thank you to all the new Facebook friends that have joined in with us. Thank you for all the subscribers on YouTube. I appreciate you. Spread the word. Let's take Mental Health Mondays to a new level. Let's touch as many people as we can, because there are people out there who are suffering by themselves and they don't have to. So until the next time I see you, my darlings, I love you. I appreciate you. It is my honor to be able to sit before you and have conversations. For the people who are on YouTube, talk back. Let's know where you are. Let me know how you feel about music. Let me know how music has helped you. My Facebook friends, hey, let's talk about what songs you like. What songs help you get through your rough times? Boy, we could actually one day we'll do a whole post on share your song, and we'll talk about it. And as soon as I figure out how to get all of these devices to do the different platforms at one time or from one device, then we'll do some other things. But for now, I love you. Good night. I appreciate you. Have a good evening.